Hello, hello, welcome, and today we will be doing episode 12. Last time I forgot to explore that mysterious light in the night, and we have a little rendering issue here where we see just the light, and as soon as I pull up the telescope, the statue around it mysteriously appears. I remember seeing these in my first playthrough and had no clue how to open them up, and so I'm gonna show you. This is probably common knowledge for anyone who's played the game for any length of time, but for those of you who are not acquainted, it's quite simple. First, we piss off a troll, and we hang out near it. And he's a very kind gentleman, and he'll just pop it open for us. We can grab our loot and make it out of here, because for some reason, all of them are angry. Probably because it's daytime. It's probably best to do that at nighttime when their visibility is lower. But I just don't feel like dealing with the conga line of trolls. So we're going to continue their adventures. He's going to bop me with his breath attack. Oh my goodness. I'm in trouble. Oh no! I'm mashing the roll button. And the input isn't happening. Burn'll save me. How unfortunate. Okay, good. Now we get to check out up by the Colosseum, up on the cliff. I should say the cliff flat area that's upraised from the rest of this little, I wouldn't call it a valley, but the main road attached to the War Master's shack. We see ourselves a Godric Knight. There's not a whole lot of Godric Knights. It feels like there's more knights that we'll see later on from other factions. Godric Knights, there feels like there's very few of them. There he is. It's time to make him sad. I hope I can pull this off. I am miserable when it comes to parrying spear boys. I did that a little early. Oh! Goodbye, Godric Knight. It was nice knowing you. Oh, he lived. That's okay. And we get his pants. Very much needed those pants. And the Ash of War Golden Vow. I'm curious to know if there is any lore associated with that. Let's take a look. Golden Vow skill passed down from antiquity among the knights of the capital. Raise armament aloft and pledge to honor the Erd Tree in battle, granting self and nearby allies increased attack power and defense. I just hopped off. Does this kill me? It does. Oh boy. Don't menu and walk. Actually, menuing and walking's fine. Just, don't be reading lore. I can't believe I'm wasting time on such trivial things. But we do want back up there. Why'd I clip that out? You gotta know I'm a flawed, horribly flawed individual. Rife with mistakes. I just enjoy this process. I'm no expert. Where's the money? Here it is. Yoink. And we want to explore on top of this ruin over here. Reason being, one of my favorite weapons in the whole game is here, the lance. I'll use it for a second, but I have to two-hand the sucker. Mostly because it's got great stumble, pretty good tracking on the jump attacks. It hits hard. It's very popular for people to use two of these suckers, especially paired with like a quick step type move, which is an Ashy Ward in the form of a dodge. Two-hand the lance to actually deal some damage. It's not upgraded right now, so it's not the best idea. but it stumbles even those big knights, so very worth it. And we get the Beast Crest Heater Shield. I don't believe there's any lore in the lance. Though heavy and hard to wield, this weapon displays its worth in horseback combat, whether mounted or on foot. And the Beast Crest Heater Shield, so we see that symbol of the lion again. Oh, I'm reading lore. I really need to just clear the camp, but I'm afraid of forgetting. Alright. Features a beast at its crest, serving to remind warriors not to succumb to the arousal of battle. Fight with passion, but become not its prisoner. Okay, so we see now that the lion is not only a symbol of Siraj, counselor to the golden lineage, but also a sign of temperance. Self-control, perhaps. This what? Salt flesh. Yeah, something I should probably show off here that I may not have showed off previously. But when you're approaching the camp, there is a series of traps. Come on. There we go. I want these guys gone. Hey, it's way too slow on that. Alright. So coming up to the camp, though, you see these, if you're not paying attention, you can miss them. They blend in, especially in this lighting. But there's these stakes in the ground. And these stakes in the ground have little bells and chains attached to them. They make a little tinkling noise as you walk by. And that is to signal the camp of your arrival. Had we not cleared out the camp, it probably would have alerted them. There might be an enemy or two on this border of the camp. I believe we looted everything. It is important to note that these banners have the tree and beast. Actually, yeah, that's the lion on it, isn't it? Actually, it doesn't look like the lion. Because that's the lion. Maybe it is the lion, it's just stretched a little differently. It is the lion. I don't know why, but I thought I was getting two different images of a tree. My eyes were playing tricks on me. Oh, all the things you have to put up with, all my foibles. That's alright, we're here for a long time. We're gonna make good use of it. Here we go. Get our flasks back. Alright, so coming down this way. We got ourselves the lance and the line crest heater shield. And we're gonna grab the grace down here. Just for ease. This is actually, this location's referred to as the Saints Bridge. Yeah, the Saints Bridge. So we finally have a name for these statues, these sword priest statues that we've seen all over the place. We can call them saints, because this is the Saints Bridge. It'll be a good analog. These sword saint statues. We saw one of them in that field with all the trolls that we broke open with their help. He wasn't holding a sword, but he's the same shape. So hopefully we start to see markers like that. We'll be able to categorize eras throughout time by their architecture and their icons. Oh no! Oh, how miserable! Oh, there's a character I'm supposed to say hello to here. And he is clearly missing because I visited here. So I recommend not doing that. I'm going to make a cut to show you the dialogue. So we'll be right back. Hello, hello. Welcome back from the cut. I had to switch to an alternate character. Ignore that message being appraised. But we're going to go see what this fellow has to say. As we get close, he says something to us.
Hello? Can you hear me? Help me. I'm stuck. Hello? Hello? Anyone?
So interesting to know. He looks like a giant ceramic pot with these really gravelly,
Hello?
oddly shaped arms.
Can you hear me? Help me.
He's
stuck.
got a big old wax
Hello?
seal on him,
Hello?
depicting the Erd tree in a
Anyone?
crest, like a shield. And it's a little hard to see, but there are gaps in the wax seal. Trying to find good angles.
Hello? Can you hear
But
me?
he seems to be mostly
Help me.
hollow.
I'm stuck.
It's hard to tell what the
Hello?
walls of the inside of his vessel are made
Hello?
from. But he's
Anyone?
somehow capable of speech. Quite an interesting caricature. Let's speak with him.
Oh, my stars. I'm so happy to see you. I am Alexander, also known as the Iron Fist. And as you can see, I'm stuck here. Please, can you help me out of this?
Oh, we could probably help him out. Why not?
My thanks. 1,000 thanks. Just give me a good smack from the rear with something nice and big. And I'll pop clean out, I'm sure. Don't dally. There's no need to fret. I'm very well trained. Give it your all, I say. Come on.
One more time.
Give me a good smack from... I'll pop clean.
Alright, so he wants us to give him smack something nice and big. So we're going to try this blunt weapon, since it's one of the few I have on this character. And it worked.
Well played, good sir. Well played. Though that mighty wallop of yours almost spelled the end of me. Well, I'm out now, and that's what counts. I thank you. And as a token of my appreciation, I'd like you to have this.
Exalted Flesh. Which we learned previously. It's a consumable. Ignore all these items you have not yet seen. I must have passed it. There it is. A lump of animal flesh pickled in a medicinal solution mixed with fiery spices temporarily boosts physical attack. Considered a delicacy in the Badlands. This invigorating repast was for the exclusive benefit of those who they deem heroes.
Once again, the pleasure is mine. I am the warrior Jar known as Alexander. Iron Fist Alexander, in fact. I journey to the east, where I intend to further my education in the ways of war. And beyond these lands lie the scarlet, rot-blighted Caelid wilds. And upon their southern edge is Redmane Castle, in which a festival of combat is being held. I'd heard whispers of such festivities before. Doesn't the notion set your breast aflutter?
Alright, so he's going to the east to the Caelid lands. We won't go too deeply over there. Apparently they're infested with a thing called the Scarlet Rock, and there is a Redmane Castle in that direction where he's going to further his education.
I'm heading eastward to Redmane Castle. I've heard there's to be a...
That's all he has to say to us for now. But he's a very peculiar character, especially from the cast we've met thus far. He's got these almost chicken-like legs, bent really far backwards, but he's huge. He's massive, and for some reason, his gift to us was a piece of pickled meat. A very interesting character, I should be saying. And most notably, he has that wax seal on top, so we'll have to keep an eye out for things shaped like him, with symbols like him. It looks like he's got all these swirls around him. It looks like he's already beat up, cracked a bit. What's really interesting to me is it almost feels like if you've ever made a clay figure, like somebody sculpted the arms for him out of a very rough material filled with rocks and clay, and just kind of stuck it to the side of him, and that was good enough. I don't know if that's intended, just given all this black marring beneath his arm. That's what it seems to look like. It could be that he's filled with whatever his arms are made out of, but we can peek inside the character model. that may not be totally intentional, so who knows what in lore he's actually stuffed with. But he's very interesting, and I'm excited to see what more he says. Hopefully I can visit the edge of the zone over here and find out what more he has to say. Hopefully that won't wreck this save, because I'll probably be using this character to find bits of missing dialogue that I do not see on the main. Anyway, we will work our way back to the other character. Thank you for the intermission. Alright, we're back on the main character for the Lorethrough, and one thing I would like to mention is that Iron Fist Alexander mentioned the Caelid Wilds, and I forgot, but I remember. In my notes I wrote down that Caelid, the word derives from the Gaelic word Caeli, which is spelled very similar. It's C-E-L-I-D-I-H, Caeli, which means a social gathering. So it's interesting that they're having a festival of combat in that direction. We're going to go to the other side of this little ravine. We find ourselves a ghost outside a catacomb. Unthinkable, our hallowed resting place is violated. To refuse the Erdtree's call to return, to live within death. Sickening. Okay, that seems foreboding. Hallowed resting place is violated. Refuse the Erdtree's call to return, to live within death. Sickening. So something's living within death here. And it's interrupting or refusing the call to participate in the Erdtree's cycle of reincarnation or rebirth or whatever it actually is. So okay, so we have more of these skeleton statues with their interesting croziers. Another of these boss doors depicting that life cycle. People at the base. We know that these little yellow blotchy bits are bodies being decomposed by the roots of the great tree. And then there seems to be people coming out of the boughs of the tree at the top. Skeletons are made of bones. Bones are meant to crunch. So blunt weapons are a must. Not a must, but highly recommended. Bully's also very good against them. But they're very much like your... It's gotta be almost dead. And the undead in this game, you have to confirm the kill on each and every one of them. Not doing so hot. You need to be a little more cautious. Did I not finish him? I swear I had. Agitates me that a critical hit does not finish them off. Come on, I'd like to lock on, but the pillars are getting in the way. A very poor job. We'll probably have to rest the grace before the boss. Probably didn't need to charge that up, but here we are. Engraved glove fort. Okay, I've been wanting to look at one of these. Have I already grabbed a handful? White flower that blooms in catacombs, each a soundless spell used to summon spirits. The art of strengthening ashes is known as spirit tuning. Only a spirit tuner may perform this deed. A spirit nestles close to it. Major difference. So this is the spirit of a glowfort, and this is the actual flower. And it seems that the spirit of the Glovewort, or the ghost of one, is a bit more potent. Skeletons don't offer much in the way of a reward. We're just gonna grab all their tasty goods and be off. We have things to do. I don't like that one bit. And we'll look at the Uchigatana in just a moment. Nice army of skeletons. Reminds me of my Dark Souls 1 days, just running from heaps of skeletons. They are not so fun to fight. But the nice thing about the boss of this dungeon is we get a good smidge of lore that'll work into the overarching intrigue of the world we find ourselves in. Might be a good way to round off the episode. We'll see how far we can get. I know we're coming up on somewhere around 25 minutes, I believe. Maybe it's only 20. I'm probably 5 minutes off. But here we see a Black Knife assassin. And we heard about the Knight of Black Knives from the cinematic story trailer of the game. And here we get to see one with a very unique knife. And they seem bloodied a bit. They're not in good standing. Really hoping to get a parry off, but may not happen. Come here. Making a fool of me. Alright. We'll stop joking around so much. But they like to do what a lot of people in the community refer to as input reading. They seem to be able to read your inputs instantly, and they don't. It's not instant. It feels instant. It's like frame 1, which compared to human reaction time might as well be instant. There we go. I was going to carry enough. Eventually I was going to get it. But it gives us a chance to look at the figure for a moment. I should have put a glowstone on the ground. Maybe I still can within reason. Do I have one? Oh, good. We have time for this. There we go. Get a good sight. Anyway, it looks like their hood is empty. Like, literally a void. Yeah, there we go. That's good. That's very good. Nice and well lit. But, their cloak is... Actually, this one's not wearing a cloak. Well, they got a little, like... skirt, half skirt in the back there, but come on. I want to finish it off with a nice animation in the light. Come here. You're a very unique enemy. You deserve it. If they're ever doing that spin and you parry early, you can kind of just parry again and it'll almost always connect. Almost. Unless you're dumb like me. Hopefully you're smarter than I am, and you'll have a much better time, but we get the Assassin's Crimson Dagger, which is shaped like their weapon, but red, notably. So let's take a look at that. This is a very good early game item. And it is an Assassin's Dagger, misshapen and stained in crimson. Critical hits restore HP. This charm is modeled after the darkly gleaming blades used in the Knight of Black Knives, those which gave the demigods their first taste of death. Is a very interesting thing to know. We also find another lore-heavy item, the Death Root, or a Death Root, I should say. Source that gives rise to those who live in death, probably the skeletons, and that's a really long-winded way of saying undead. The Beast Clergyman found in the Bestial Sanctum in the distant east, so another notable landmark in the distant east, collects and devours these roots. On the night of the dire plot of the stolen rune of death enabled the... Okay, sorry. On the night of the dire plot, the stolen rune of death enabled the first death of a demigod. Later, the rune of death spread across the lands between through the underground roots of the great tree, sprouting in the form of death root. So it seems interesting that a Black Knife assassin was hiding here, and apparently this particular catacomb has been sealed off, or rather is refusing to return bodies to that of the great tree. We will go just a smidge farther, probably to the merchant. So, but we're starting to get more puzzle pieces. They're vaguely connecting. Nothing too fantastic yet. Poor Pumpkinhead, I feel bad for this guy. It's probably the easiest time I've had with one of them. He drops a Sanctuary Stone. Have you ever looked at the Sanctuary Stone? It's a crafting item, isn't it? There it is. A rare piece of stone fragment found near places where ruins have fallen from the sky. Material used in crafting items. It feeds and strengthens the light as it shines. Alright. Is there anything worth looking at here? We have some more of these sword state statues. They have these very ornate base pillars that they're on. We don't have much to connect them to yet, but we'll get there. A couple dead nobles. Maybe the Pumpkinhead did them in. Very likely. We have another merchant over here.
Oh, dear.
And we seem to have interrupted him. We spooked him a bit.
Terribly sorry. Are you here as a customer?
And he sells smithing stones, which we want. Another cracked pot, which we want. Access to poison arrows, bolts, and a pickled turtleneck, which we want. I love the short sword. Tempted to get a second one. I probably won't, just because even if I don't use it. The halberd, one of my favorite weapons. In this game, primarily. They were in previous Souls games. Usable, of course, but halberds and other pokey weapons in this game just seem to reign supreme, especially a bigger weapon like a halberd. We'll grab that. And a bandit mask. Mask of black cloth that covers the mouth, favored by bandits frightening their faces. It also provides some protection against poison. And he has a hint. Flame chariots. Note imparting knowledge and brief. So it looks like a gray feather on the note.
Oh, I must apologize. I'm afraid I've very little
He has very little to offer us. But it looks like his hat also has those gray feathers. But let's take a look at that note. And perhaps we will cut there. So, flame chariots. Beware the fire monk's chariots bearing the faces of giants. A well-aimed blow to the chimney on top may prove effective, but opportunities for a plunging attack will be rare indeed. So I find this note interesting because we won't have occasion to make use of that for a bit. He's not near this particular construct he's referring to. But I thank you for joining me today. I hope you've had a good time, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.